This global movement will cause a revolution on our planet. Now, for a long time, to solve the problems in our society, we have been looking outside, outward, and apart from who we are. We've spent centuries working externally, looking outward to find solutions and fix our problems. Too often we think that change is about changing the world outside of us. We may want change in our lives, but we shy away from disrupting our habitual patterns. Be it organizational change or changing one's life circumstances, we want the change, but we are hesitant to work internally on ourselves. Many of us, we are afraid to look inward because our brains are naturally hardwired to look outward. But fortunately, more and more of us are realizing that the crisis facing humanity today, be it climate change, poverty, our broken systems and failing institutions, is a spiritual one. What has been ignored and missing from public discourse at every level of our society, be it governance, education, business, or health, is this missing spiritual element. A spiritual crisis, it comes from our inability to connect with ourselves, with others, and the world at large. During a spiritual crisis, we struggle to understand our own values, our beliefs, and our emotions. We feel the disconnection from our authentic selves, from our true selves, leaving us feeling further alienated and very empty inside. When we are not connected with ourselves, we become disconnected from nature, from the environment. Hence, without any hesitation, we ruthlessly destroy our natural environment. Neglecting the spiritual aspects in all aspects of our lives, work, and even governance is now leading to significant and escalating costs on the economy, on our lives. Therefore, this novel worldwide movement that's emerging, it represents a revolution as it acknowledges the necessity of looking inward in order to advance, reshape societies and transform our systems and institutions. Why do we need to look inward to move forward and transform society at every level? There are two main reasons why we need to look inward in order to drive change forward. Number one is that our outer world as human beings, our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. And number two, systems change involves shifting the collective consciousness. Let's get to number one, where our outer world is a reflection of our inner world. Now, in the 20th century, Paramahansa Yogananda, the author of the book, The Autobiography of a Yogi, that helped launch a spiritual revolution in the West, and another prominent figure in the global spiritual landscape, Krishnamurti, back in the 20th century, they had both said, when we change who we are, we have done our part of changing the world. Krishnamurti had challenged the idea that outward changes in society, in political or religious system could transform humanity. He said, to transform the world, we must begin with ourselves. Also, in the words of Mahatma Gandhi, he said, we but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our body. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. French-born American author and diarist Anais Nin wrote in her book back in 1961, she said, we don't see things as they are, we see them as we are. So all of them, they recognize, and profoundly so, the interconnectedness between our inner world, that is our thoughts, our beliefs, our emotions, values, and the outer world, that is our societies, relationships, the environment. Have you noticed that many social issues that we see around, they actually stem from individual attitudes, prejudices, and behaviors? When we address these root causes within ourselves, we contribute to addressing them in the wider context, at the level of the collective. Now, negative patterns and behaviors, they often perpetuate in society because they are deeply ingrained in our collective consciousness. By transforming ourselves, who we are at an individual level, we break these negative cycles and contribute to breaking them on a larger scale. The second reason why we need to look inward to move forward in order to transform society at every level is because systems change involves shifting the collective consciousness. Now, when we talk about transforming society or the environment, we are talking about systems change. To change a system means to transform its very structure, the interrelationships, the processes. Now, Otto Scharmer, a senior lecturer at MIT, is known for his work on Theory U. Within Theory U, he emphasizes the concept of systems change, which refers to a fundamental transformation of the underlying structure of the system. According to him, he said, systems change involves shifting the collective consciousness and the way people perceive, relate to, and interact with one another and the world around them. The real superpower of the 21st century, he said, will be our capacity as individuals to realign our attention, our focus, our intention on the level of the whole system. So shifting collective consciousness requires individual to undergo personal growth and inner change. This means letting go of negativity, limiting beliefs and biases that contribute to social divisions and injustices. Shifting collective consciousness often requires transcending your ego-driven desires and self-centeredness. The spiritual teachings of Yogananda and Krishnamurti have encouraged individuals to move beyond their personal interests and embrace a sense of oneness and common purpose. Therefore, the mindset of an individual and the collective mindset of an organization, they have the ability to become the most potent catalyst for effecting change within a system. Individual assumptions, beliefs, and values, they form the structures of a system, and further, these thought patterns, they serve as a nurturing ground for the growth of other elements within the system. Now, the rising global movement, the most remarkable aspect of this emerging movement is that the United Nations Development Program, that's an agency of the United Nations, is also part of it. Even they have realized that to achieve the sustainable development goals, which are external goals, requires an inner transformation. They have written an article, or they've written a series of articles and carried out dialogues on the importance of inner transformations, which is so essential for social and environmental transformation. And 1,000 others across the world are part of this radical movement. Now, this movement is calling on all of us, change makers, government officials, organizations, institutions, and businesses, to cultivate the inner conditions that allow for transformational change. A movement that allows us to radically connect with ourselves, with others, with our planet, and our ever-evolving human consciousness.